good people. What's going on? It's just around here. I hope everybody's having a good evening. It's been kind of a nice day, I guess. Started out with a little rain this morning. I got rained on probably about half my day, but other than that, we locked it in and got everything done. We are going to look into this college football selection show and kind of see how all this pans out. Some people maybe feel like that TCU may come out. I don't know. What do y'all think? I think the before is probably just kind of going to be the same. It's probably going to be the same thing. That's what it kind of looks like to me. Got everything coming up right now. Jeff had come on and said it appears that we were right last week about Kiffin going to Auburn. That's been speculations and those kind of things for the past while now. So, and with all the stuff that's going on Twitter about yesterday, and then Kiffin coming out and getting after it and getting on the reporter and saying that his job, he was changing jobs too. That's just what makes him great. And you either like Lane, you either like him or you don't. It's just, kind of is what it is. So, if some people feel like he may not be a good fit at Auburn, he can recruit. That's what they need. Things have been going downhill for a while since then. You got to have dudes, okay? You got players make plays and coaches call plays, but it takes all the Joes and no schmoes. I'm saying I may be surprised that if USC may jump LSU. Yeah, North Carolina, we talked about that Sunday. North Carolina losing to Georgia Tech does not help the ACC at all. It doesn't help them at least a little bit.
We will find out in just a few seconds from now. I'm going to get out of the way and get out of here for Reese Davis. I'm not going to see you before Thanksgiving.
5 seconds and counting down. Dog. Everybody needs 2 or 3. Yeah, we got 4 unbeaten teams. Yeah, I'm curious to see how the committee, how are they with these close games? How is that going? What's up, Jeff? Good to see you on here, man. Glad you can stop by and hang out with me here, and let's see what the selection's going to get. Do you think all these close games, Jeff, do you think it's going to affect some of these? I don't think it does. Win's a win, and we talked about it Sunday. Spencer Rattler, comes in there and throws 6 touchdowns. Sometimes players just have good games, and obviously Tennessee had some turmoil. One of their players, their linebacker, I found out a little later that he didn't even travel with a team. He didn't even come to South Carolina. He didn't even come with a team. Him and QB Hooker got into it. They had some kind of disagreement about something. I'm not sure what it is, and I hadn't heard anything else about it. And there's supposed to be a video out there. There's supposed to be a video of him, of their some kind of drama in the locker room. And I wasn't sure if they were saying that I know they got into it before because he didn't come with the team. But I kind of understood it that Tennessee got into it with them. The players had a disagreement at South Carolina. That darn TCU, buddy, he got them out there. They didn't feel like they had practiced that, and that's why these games we're getting in here. it's getting to be the end of November, so you're getting into your conference title games, and we're gonna figure out what conference is where and who's what and oh no, not now. Why? We're gonna figure out who's what and where. Hang on a second. Let me plug this up. Okay, I'm not sure how this is. How's what's up, Benton? Good to see you on there, buddy. That's Northwest Georgia Scoreboard Show. You can find them over here on the YouTube and the Facebook. They're on 4 or 5 times a week. Yeah, yeah. I'll send you. Let's see how I can figure out to do that. Let's see. We're gonna copy this, and we're gonna do this. I'm still here. A invite link set up here for Benton Northwest Georgia Scoreboard Show. TCU defeats Butter in under 28. It was a good show. It was a good game. I mean, they went back and forth. Now Tennessee, South Carolina. I guess it depends on who you're asking. If that was a good game, and I hate that too. I put that out there a couple of times. Hooker, he's ACL. He's tore, man. He's out. He's done. He's not going to be. He's not going to be playing anymore. Okay, here I am. Yeah, LSU takes care of business over UAB like they should. It's not a big deal. That's fifth straight win. They've scored 40 points plus in 3 of those 5 wins. So, we've talked about it before. If Coach Kelly he took Notre Dame to the championship game. Now I know they played Alabama and they didn't play good, but they played Alabama. And that Alabama team that beat Notre Dame, to me, is probably one of the best Bama teams there is out there. Yeah, I know. I hate that too. What's up,
What's
dude?
up, boss man?
Just hanging in there, son.
Yes, sir. I know she didn't have Diamond Dean with you tonight.
No, he don't never get on these with me. He's either at basketball or something. I think he was with may have been with a lady friend tonight doing some things for the week, maybe some shopping or something. I don't know. I like coming on here and doing this because I'm going to talk about it anyway. So,
Yeah.
why not just turn the darn computer on?
Yeah, I hear you.
Can you hear me good?
Yeah, I got you. Can you hear me?
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
I don't know.
You think
Go ahead.
Do you think some of these teams are going to move around because of the? I don't think so because of how they played.
Top 3 doesn't change. Obviously, number 4 is probably going to change.
Jeff thinks USC may get in there at 4. I don't. I don't know. They may stick USC in there at 4. Notre Dame.
They would love to. I know they would love to. They being, the whole country, I guess you'd say, not the South, but.
There's just no way. There's no ACC teams gonna be getting in because after Carolina dumping that game, Georgia Tech, that just makes their championship game.
Yeah, Clemson's done. ACC is done.
Yeah.
I mean, I could see USC jumping because they got 1 loss, and I don't know. I think LSU is probably going to stay above them right now, but I could see them jumping for sure. if they win that title game, whichever one, obviously.
Yeah, that's then we had a discussion about that. What if LSU wins? What if they beat
Yeah.
Georgia?
I was listening to Feinbaum today, and he's in the belief that if Georgia beats Georgia Tech, which they should, I think they're a 35-point favorite.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what happens.
Yeah.
Georgia's in
Yeah.
the top four.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Even if LSU beats them, it could be like the how they did Bama that year.
Mm-hmm.
They wouldn't be conference champs, but they're still going to make the playoff. I mean, it's happened to both times either way.
Well, I mean, what happens if Michigan beats Ohio State by a field goal? I mean, how far do you drop Ohio State?
Yeah, they got Oregon State 21, Louisville coming in the rankings at 25. Texas, Sark, he's at 23. They wouldn't rank. They jump in here at 23. UCF, that's Gus Malzahn.
You know what I hate about these teams here is somebody is using these teams to try to pad their resume. These are not good teams.
Mm-mm.
And I don't know.
No, yeah, they're Oregon State. Now they play Oregon this weekend.
Yeah.
They've played better, and Oregon Nix is hurt, so I picked Oregon State. They may not beat Oregon, probably not, but Tulane jumps all the way to 19, and Ole Miss dropped all the way down to 20. Holy crap!
Tulane is still the highest ranked non-power 5, right?
Yes, they've they've been playing good. We looked at their schedule Sunday. They won. We had them picked to win.
I think it's going to be fun when they go to the 12-team playoff and you got somebody like Tulane that's going to jump in there and grab a seed.
Well, I mean, there ain't but one way to find out. Just go in there and get that tail whooping.
Yeah.
Everybody thinks they can do it. We're seeing what happened to Cincinnati. It wasn't even fun. And that's the thing. They think that they're bringing more, it's that word they use, competitive balance.
Yeah.
What's competitive about 50 to nothing at halftime? Well, there's your top 12. If we had 12-team playoff,
Yep.
we could write it down here. Kansas State 12, Penn State 11. And of course, your top 4 would be bye that week. So 12 K-State, 11 Penn State.
I'm writing it down.
See, Washington's moved up a lot, but Penix, their quarterback, I think is a good quarterback. Utah dropped. See, Utah could have been in the 12, but they dropped down to 14. Notre Dame up to 15. That's pretty good. First things first, have to negotiate with the Rose Bowl. They're holding the 12-team college football hostage. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, the Rose Bowl is not going to stop it. Too much momentum. They're going to they're going to just eventually they're going to say, look, you have no leverage.
Well, they just don't play it. I mean, whatever. Just tell them, hey, go jump in the river. No matter what you do.
Yeah, I mean, make the Rose Bowl one of them other bowl games, non-playoff bowl game. Let them play it whenever they want.
Well, they want to play politics out there. Their governor, he's insane. There's something wrong with him. I mean, really. I mean, I'm serious. I don't try to make fun of people that's special needs.
Yeah.
There's something really wrong with that feller. He come on the board and said he's part of the trustees at UCLA, and he has a problem with them leaving, and why wouldn't he notified about them leaving? And part of the paperwork I read, I don't think he got a vote on it, so I really don't think it's none of his business.
Oh.
Well, they ain't moving on from this 11. They just hanging around. They just keep talking. I don't know what all they're saying, but they're talking too much. They need. Let's get it.
I have mine muted. So I'm just watching.
Too. Yours is probably ahead of mine. They got Tennessee at 10.
It just flashed on mine. So.
Golly, boy, they dropped them. Oh man.
5 places.
They just didn't get. See, they dropped Bama way down when they lost to the LSU game. You know, when they lost Tennessee, it dropped them a little bit. But when they lost to LSU, they dropped Bama away then. And Bama has lost both their games, you know, like combined 5 points in the last second of the game. Tennessee got that old head thumped.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched the whole game. I just sat there and my jaw dropped. I was like, where's Spencer Rattler been? Is somebody like kidnapped him? This is the guy that I watched on the Netflix special. He was money. I mean, in high school, he was a great player.
So if Tennessee's 10, then who moved
Oregon.
into the top 10?
Oregon's 9.
Gotcha. That's who moved in. They
That'd
moved
be
from 12 to 9, correct?
Yeah, should be from here on out. Should be like Clemson 8, Bama 7.
Yeah, there's no way that Clemson is ahead of Bama. No way.
No, ain't no way. Now they may. I don't know, man. These suckers. I quit trying to figure it out when they started this thing.
The only argument that Clemson has is one in the loss column, but look at that strength of schedule, and it took a hit this weekend.
Yeah, and that's the thing with these other teams. You know, I mean, Clemson 8. The yummy cupcakes I got on Clatt the other day on Twitter. I don't know if you've seen it. I tagged him, and I was like, look, man, he is so quick to, you know, bust Bama or Georgia or A&M or Auburn, whatever, quickly, you know, you know, if they stumble, you know, and have a good road game or something, they stumble. They just didn't play good. What's so tough about playing on the road? It's a road game, just like everybody plays. But USC goes on the road and barely wins. You know, it's not a big. He don't even bring it up. He don't even talk about it at all. He just acts like, you know, just nothing's happened, and he just brags on them, brags on USC and how great they are. And I think they're a good football team. But that bias and the way he lays it, he's just not doing it. If he was, no. I'm not going to say if he was smart, because he's smarter than me. He's got more money than I do. And the man played college football. He went to school at Colorado. He's probably got a degree in freaking chemistry or something, you know.
I mean,
honestly,
I think LSU is going to be 5 and USC is going to be 6. That's what I think.
Yeah, I agree with that.
And it's going to be because of games they've won. You know, beating. We knew Alabama would be 7 there.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the rest of them just going to everybody just kind of bumped.
I bet they go from top down now, because the most interesting thing is the 5-6 spot, I believe.
Yeah, I think we all feel 1 through 4 is just going to be Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU.
Yeah,
now, Jeff on here. Jeff watches. He comes on every Tuesday with me. He likes watching this. Yeah. Anderson, Bun, what is up? What are you doing on here? You supposed to be in the bed or something? No defense in Pac-12. Yeah, you're right about that. They ain't never played no defense. I mean that.
Well, Tennessee just gave up 63 to South Carolina, so.
Yeah, there's great defense they're playing too. They ain't no defense. I mean, look, guys, Bama. I mean, I didn't even know this till about 3 weeks ago. Bama's got, like, when you go down that SEC chart and it shows like points for and against, how many yards they give up, Bama's got one of the top defenses in the nation.
Yeah.
They're not number 1, but they got I'm like, how they lose 2 games? How are they only giving up what? I don't get it at all.
They honestly, the people don't have good production, but they're giving up points to them. It doesn't make much sense. It doesn't add up, really.
Well, they're just not scoring the points. I mean, Bama used to have, you know, this time of year they'd have receivers over, you know, 800, 900 yards. Well, they don't. You know, their best receiver's got, you know, like 600 yards, and he's the tailback, Gibbs.
Yeah.
They're not.
I seen where Tracy.
Yeah, they're not. O'Brien's not putting the players in the right place to be successful. And I'm just tired. If I hear Saban say one more, I said this 2 weeks ago. I watched a little bit of that press conference with Auburn, you know, the pregame. I watched a few minutes. I don't want to hear it. If I hear one more time, well, let's see. He asked about, well, you know, Will Anderson this year, and so he made up to Will plays hard. He's a great player here. No, he's not. Stop making, you know, just stop poo-pooing it. Just say He's having a tough year. He's not been as productive as he was last year. Just be honest. Stop propping them up. Stop putting all these players up like they're great. They're not.
Oregon was 9, and who was 10? Tennessee.
Yeah, Tennessee.
I'm just getting our
Yeah,
bracket.
we can make a bracket for that 12.
There's going to be some interesting matchups already. Yeah, they did. They started back at 1. I figured they'd do that.
Because don't 1 through 4, they have the bye the first week, ain't that what they were going to do? And like 5 was going to play 6 or.
I don't. Have they actually come out and gave a stone-clad answer of what they were going to do?
Yeah, Joel Klatt had a good one on sometime back. I think it may have been last season. I did a reaction on it, and he did a great job of giving a mock like what it would probably look like. I thought it was great. Now, if it's good, I'll applaud him on something good. But when he's wrong, dude, I'm gonna call him out. I do a lot of reaction videos with him.
Yeah, you're right. It's 5 versus 12, and so on and so on.
Okay.
That nothing changed there in the top 4. We didn't think.
Yeah.
So.
TCU, man, I 2 weeks ago I had Baylor beating them, but Baylor had just I don't know what's happening. They fell apart. They had them beat. TCU just runs on, but see that's what good teams do. I mean, if you're just a winner, you just win, right? Some teams are just good. You just figure out a way to win. LSU 5.
Yep.
So I put USC at 6. Yeah.
So TCU has Iowa State and then the Big 12 championship. Now, who's that looking like? Do we know?
Which one now?
TCU has Iowa State left at home and then the Big 12 championship. I'm trying to think of who they would be paired up with.
Yeah, I don't. Kansas State. Yeah.
Wow.
That'll be the championship game. And Michigan or Ohio State will get, we think, Purdue or Iowa. I think this weekend we'll have to wait on one of the Purdue or Iowa, see how one of their games pan out, see how they're going. As far as the East and the West, the winner Michigan, Ohio State, number 2 and 3 is going to play Saturday.
Yes.
And then we're going to find out, so one of them's going to fall out. So that's going to put LSU in this weekend. LSU wins, okay. So that's going to put. But what are they going to do with Michigan? They're going to put them down at 6 and put USC at 5 and put LSU at 4. Well, 1 and 4 is going to play the next weekend.
Yep.
Right. Georgia's going to play LSU.
Yep.
So then
I think you're going to get. Now, this is just my thinking. Now, I could be totally wrong, and I guess you call me biased. I'm going to go the final rankings: Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, and then TCU 3, followed up by probably USC at 4.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. Now, riddle me this. What's going to happen if USC's not a shoe-in to beat Notre Dame?
No, they're definitely not a mess.
And they're not a shoe-in to beat Oregon for the Pac-12 title.
No.
So now what happens? Let's say
you put Michigan in there.
Yeah. Let's say that USC loses. But what if they lose both those games?
Done. I think if you lose one, you're done.
Yeah. Okay. So if they lose to Notre Dame, that's going to put them out.
Yep.
Well, that's going to put them down to about 8. Well, we're going to do the shuffle again. Well, that's going to shuffle Bama to 6, and LSU loses to Georgia. They'll have the last ranking right after that. Okay, so LSU, which will be 4, they'll come out. Well, no, wait a minute now. LSU could be, wait a minute now. They could be 3 because Michigan and Ohio State's 2 and 3. Well, 2 or 3 is coming out. So whichever, I think Michigan beats Ohio State. So Michigan State goes to 2. So that'd be Georgia, Michigan, LSU 3, and then USC 4. All right, USC loses. Well, who's down there at the? That'd be Alabama.
Yeah. It could get wild before it's over with. I think chalk holds at 1-2. I think Ohio State's going to have enough to beat Michigan this year. But I think that'll drop Michigan out because their strength of schedule is not very
No.
good. I think TCU wins out. I think their offense is good enough to win out, so they would go to the 3 seed, and then you have LSU. If they beat Georgia, they'll be in. If they lose to Georgia, they're out. And then you got, like you said, USC. See what they do. What you gonna do if Clemson goes win the ACC and ends up in the 4th seed and jumps Alabama?
No, there ain't no way.
I mean, I totally agree with you, but they're going to wait that conference championship, are they not?
Yeah, that'll be the last.
I mean, people will go stupid. I'll go. That'd be crazy.
That's what Todd was saying. Well, now what happens if LSU wins? You know, he said, well, they're not going to put in LSU. Don't matter if they win or not. I said, you're telling me that if
they're sitting at 5 right now, they're in if they win.
Yeah, well, if they win the SEC, they'll put them at 3 and put Georgia at 4, and then they'll bump or put them and they'll bump whoever Ohio State. If they beat Michigan, they'll be 1. Georgia will probably drop to 3, but who would be 2? And if USC's out, dude, this may be a mess.
Well, it's going to be interesting.
There's still a chance for Alabama, which I don't think they need to be in it now. You know, I'm a fan of the team. I'm a fan of college football in general, but I like football and I like good games. I don't think they deserve to be. I don't think they just don't seem interested in. I mean, I'm concerned them being beat Auburn. You know, Auburn's fighting for a ball game. You know, they might not make a ball game. TCU, LSU is 5, and USC was 6.
Yep.
And Bama 7. I'm trying to think this out in my head here. What's Buns? What's he say? What if Ohio State or Michigan loses in the championship? Yeah. Well, that's what Benton just said. What if it's close? You know, what if we just see what happened at Baylor and TCU? You know, what if we see that happen at up there at Ohio State? Say Michigan runs out and kicks a field goal with no time on the clock, and they beat Ohio State. You know, one loss team. Are they going to kill them? Somebody's going to screw this up, Benton.
Yeah, I think on Ohio State loss, they're more likely to get in than Michigan with a loss, and that's just where they're ranked at. And
yeah, because they've been number 1 a couple of times.
They've had.
They've been number 1 a couple of times this year.
Yeah.
Anytime Georgia stumbled, they'd put Ohio State 1. Let's see here. And make them 1. Well, okay, let's see. What if TCU loses? All right, that'd shuffle everybody back up again. So you'd have Georgia, Ohio State. I'm going to write TCU loss up here on the top. Scenario for TCU losing is Georgia, Ohio State. Well, let's just say Ohio State wins. Michigan's out. Okay, Michigan and TCU loss. All right, Georgia, Ohio State.
Man.
LSU be 3 and USC be 4 and Bama be 5 and then USC. Oh my God! But all these games, well, say that happens this week. Then the next week when USC plays Oregon.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Then the next week, I'm writing all this down. Next week, USC loses to
early in the year. We
Ducks.
talked about TCU. We wanted to see more from their defense. SC's had some struggles on defense. What's the about?
Well, but then the next week will be the championship week, so we got to assume that LSU loses too.
Yep.
Oh crap!
There's all kind of spots opening up.
Okay, so Georgia, Ohio State 1-2, LSU's out, Michigan's out, TCU is out. All right, Well, USC's out because they just lost. Well, they ain't nobody else. All right, then you got to put Bama at 3 and Clemson at 4.
Well, if USC loses, they probably lost to Oregon. Does Oregon jump?
No, they were. What number was they?
9.
9. No, they may put them in a 5. I don't know. They
It depends on where they are the week before that.
well, yeah, because they got to beat Oregon State this weekend. The Civil War, which
Yeah.
they cannot lose this game.
No.
No, right now nobody can lose.
No.
Nobody can lose this week. I mean, I don't mean nobody. One of the teams has. None of these 7 can lose this weekend. Any loss by 1 through 7 right now is it's toasted biscuits. You might as well go ahead and put them biscuits, give them to the dog, because the dog ain't gonna eat them.
I wonder how far down. What is there? 2 weeks to go. I wonder how far down somebody's ever came in the playoffs with 2 weeks to go.
Usually, from my memory, usually a 5 gets in or something, because somebody's going to lose. But something like I'm laying out here, like in 2 weeks, that'd be championship week, which in 2 weeks would be December. If all this crap went down, Michigan, TCU, and then USC loses to the Ducks, and LSU loses in the championship game, which I think is going to happen, that'd be Georgia 1, Ohio State 2, Bama 3, and Clemson at 4.
And that is not. I mean, that's not talking crazy. Now it's just what's going to happen. What would happen if those?
If
fail?
TCU is going to have to dump a game, either they're going to dump this weekend, or if they lose in their conference game, guys. If Kansas State beats TCU, and they have a huge shot to do that.
Yeah.
And Michigan or Ohio State, one of them is going to lose. Okay, so I'm not talking crazy.
Yeah,
Now,
I agree with you.
next week, it's a fact that LSU or Georgia is going to win. Yes.
You talking about SEC championship game?
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
one of them teams is losing.
Yeah.
All right.
And if you're Alabama, you kind of
you need to pull for Georgia.
Yeah, you got to pull for the dogs because you need LSU out of there. Because
so LSU loses now.
LSU with 2 losses, you're not getting ahead of them.
Right. Yeah. So USC then they beat Notre Dame this weekend, but they lose to the Ducks in their championship game. Well, Oregon's gonna move up to like 5 or 6. Dude, Bama's sitting at 3. So then we go to championship weekend. We got Ohio State versus Bama, and we got Georgia versus Clemson. Stupid Nick Saban, Dabo Swinney with some garbage football teams makes it to the stupid playoff, and they get smoked. And Georgia, right here, let me write it down. Georgia wins title over Ohio State. I'll write you a score down. Georgia 31, Ohio State 24. They might not even score 24. I'm just being nice, so they kick a field goal at halftime, make it Georgia's up 21-17 at half. Game. Guys, there's no need to watch anymore. Go ahead and cut your TV off. Uncle Matt here's done picked it. Georgia repeats. Kirby Smart repeats, man.
What about if chalk? What if you get chalk? What if Georgia wins? Let's go this week. Ohio State wins, Georgia wins. That would take Michigan out. TCU wins and they advance and they win. They would be the 2 at that point, correct?
Yeah.
So you'd have UGA, LSU. No, not LSU. TCU.
Ohio State now. What? No, you said Ohio State's going to
win.
Oh,
yeah. Ohio State 2. Yeah.
Yeah.
TCU 3.
LSU be 4.
And then LSU loses to Georgia there.
And then they'll be out.
So
and then
Bama could get in that scenario too.
USC's got to beat Oregon.
Yeah.
So if USC loses to Oregon in their Pac-12, that's going to drop them down below, and that'll bump. Bama needs Oregon to beat USC. Hang on, what? You remember my dog Jack? He's in there barking.
Yeah, and in that scenario, if USC beats Oregon, USC's the 4. If Oregon
They're
beats USC, then Bama's the 4.
yeah. USC cannot lose to Notre Dame or Oregon.
Yeah, I just don't know. Where's that game at? Is it in Notre Dame?
No,
A
it's in
little better
South Bend.
chance. I guess.
I mean, I favor USC to beat Notre Dame, but you know, USC Notre Dame reminds me of like that kid at school that just kind of runs around the school and he don't really say much to nobody, but there's always like some fight will break out and he's like the guy that kind of runs up in the fight and breaks it up and nobody will fight him because he's kind of
Yeah.
weird.
Yeah,
He's kind of quiet and he don't talk to nobody. Notre Dame's just running around spoiling people's seasons. Really, I mean that's kind of what they've been doing. They're just spoiling the heck out of it. I just don't want. Guys, I'll tell you right now. If this goes down, them refs ain't no way. There's no what. Just listen to us for a second. What if the guys play inspired and they get fired up at Alabama? And they go out there and they're 4, and I mean they're 3, and they get to play Ohio State and they just get fired up, and Jigba goes out and C.J. Stroud has a terrible night, and Bama goes out there and beats Ohio State 36-30.
yeah.
Georgia is beating Clemson. We're gonna have Alabama Georgia again, dude. Joel Klatt and all them old sissies over there on Twitter that whine about the SEC, they will throw up. They'll quit. They will shut their Twitter page down because I'm gonna be on it all day.
Well, look at where Bama's at. Bama's sitting at 7, and every team above them, besides TCU now, before it's all done with, we'll have a top 10 matchup before the year is over with. USC will play Oregon, we think. TCU won't have a top 10 matchup. Michigan's obviously playing Ohio State and then vice versa. And Georgia's playing LSU. So,
yeah, LSU or Georgia, one's got to lose.
yeah.
He said there was a team ranking below 10 in the last 2 weeks. Well,
Really?
USC, yeah. USC and LSU with 3 losses, or yeah, right. Poor old Jeff. That's all right, buddy. If y'all get in, y'all better daggone win it. Now, I'm not going. I mean, if Bama makes it in somehow and something stupid happens and Bama beats y'all, I'm just gonna feel terrible for Ohio State. I'm just gonna. Wouldn't that be terrible? They've played they've been number 1, and Bama has fiddle farted and puttered around like a old Ford truck. You got to ride around kind of ether in the seat to keep it going. And they get in there and beat Ohio State. Holy crap, that'd be terrible. I'd be sick for them because if that happened, and vice versa, remember Ohio State did? Remember when old Buckshot Jones was the quarterback?
Oh, I know you're talking about, yeah.
At Ohio State, nobody picked him to be that good that year, dude. They run the score up on Bama that night. No, Urban Meyer just kept throwing it. It may be payback time. They may get you back on that, Jeff. I don't know.
Huh. That's
I know. Well, we broke it down a couple different ways here. That's pretty interesting.
all right. Here's a information here. The lowest ranked team with 2 weeks left to make it is 7th, and it was Georgia in 2017 and Oklahoma in 2019. And Alabama's sitting at.
Oh my God, man! This team ain't. Dude, I'm on. All right, Bama fans, y'all just hold on a minute. Y'all got to beat Auburn Saturday. And old Cadillac's got them boys. He's got them down there smoking that high dollar fireplace chimney wood. They're smoking it up down there, and I don't mean drugs. I mean smoking it up like they're creating a fire. Auburn's fired up. I wasn't being rude. I was being serious. Bama's going to have their hands full Saturday. something dumb will just have to happen. TCU's going to have to blow up and do something dumb. LSU is now what would really stink is if like TCU and USC both went out both their games and LSU beats Georgia. What are you talking about, a mess?
Yeah. You'd have 5 teams for 4 spots, really.
Yeah. I don't think Georgia's. I don't know if they win or lose against LSU. I don't see how they're going to put them out.
Not conference champion. I mean,
even if Georgia loses, if they lose, they're going to put them at 4. They're going to make them play Ohio State. Like, okay, you lost your conference title, then go play number 1. That's the punishment for losing your conference championship game. And they're going to smoke Ohio. Ohio State, they can't stop nobody. Georgia's going to run the ball on them, and they're going to run it good. And Georgia ain't even really a great running team. Well, nobody in the SEC is really, besides, Rocket Sanders at Arkansas is good. I mean, that's what I wanted to ask you before we get off here. Think about elite players in this conference, and just take your time and just give me some names. I mean, like it's been the past 5 years.
Any position?
Yeah, anybody. Just comparing over the past 5 years to now, this year. It can be any team, LSU player or Georgia, Bama, whatever. I mean, just right off the top of your head, just watching the game, I don't know any. There's usually always some dude in the SEC. You got a Johnny Manziel, or even back in the day, you had a Dak Prescott, or you had a Cam Newton, or, you just always had somebody from Derrick Henry's to somebody. And there's just not. No,
the first thing that came to my mind was Old Perkins from LSU. He's a good player.
Oh yeah,
but he's not a
household name.
I had to look him up. So I mean,
if you just don't know football, then you just don't know. Yeah, Joe Burrow. But I mean, people that are playing now.
I mean, I like the running back that came from Georgia Tech. He's a good player.
See, I don't care for him. He's their top receiver. Why don't we? See, that's your coordinator, man. That's his problem. That's his fault.
You got a good quarterback, and here we go. They got a hypothetical up for you.
What if Georgia wins out, and what if UCLA loses Notre Dame? Yeah. I don't. Yeah, what does it say? You can turn it up.
Let's see.
No, really. The loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game, Clemson, if they win out as a ACC champion, and I don't know who else.
No household names for the SEC, Jeff. That's what I'm saying. Who? There's just not no elite guys anymore.
Against Tennessee on the road and LSU in overtime in Baton Rouge, this red-hot LSU team we're talking about. Those are their only 2 blemishes. I guess you could throw them into discussion, but that's how close we are to the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan game being in a pretty good discussion with Clemson as an ACC champion. And I think it's really those 2 teams, unless you wanted to throw Alabama in there just to make it a 3rd team because of the narrow.
He's saying that even the loser of the Ohio State-Michigan is going to be judged against, say, Alabama or USC for one of those spots.
You mean like one of them? So win or lose, Michigan's going to get in, or Ohio State's getting.
That's what Herb Street's saying.
Well, of course, that's what he said. He's a fucking Ohio State clown. You know what, though? I'll give it to Greg Mack. He's not a Bama clown. Do you agree?
No, I agree. I listen to his show all the time.
He don't pull no. If Bama ain't looking good, he'll say, I'd have them ranked number 9. And they had Bama 8 that week, and he had them at 9. He said, look, they're just not playing good.
I wonder what Galloway's got to say.
He's smart. I like him.
Notre Dame, a team that matters to Clemson, a team that matters to Ohio State. And this is the time of year we get into that, where we look at 10 through 25 and say, who did all these teams play earlier in the season, and how did they play them? And it matters to this. I can imagine in that committee room. Could you imagine like the conversation that they have to have of what matters to each individual and how they rank these teams?
You want to talk about real chaos? Let's just add to the fact that maybe Matt Campbell for the first time in a while, they pull off a
Win
stunning
a close game.
shot.
Yeah.
They actually come out on the other
Yeah.
side, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Iowa State gets it done this week. I mean, goodness gracious, y'all, at what point is the clock going to strike midnight for TCU? They've now come back from significant deficits in 5 of their games in the second half.
They're playing all kind of hypotheticals at this point. Yeah, I think you're muted. Yeah.
Why ain't we got our show on there? I mean, we're just smart as them. We done what they're talking about now. We did that 10 minutes ago, Benton. What's up?
Hey, I got a suit and tie like that. We can suit up.
I sure do. We're gonna do that Friday before the game at Center. It's gonna pour rain, man.
You
it's
think
gonna
so?
Rain. Yeah, it's 90. It's went up from 40 to 50 to 60. It was 70% this morning. It's 90% now.
Dang it, boy.
Yeah, it may
So
quit before game time. I think one of the coaches said he thinks it's gonna move out before dark.
Well, that'd be good. I mean, you'll have a wet field, but it's turf, so I mean, you should be. Yeah.
Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan, TCU ranking reactions. Yeah, who all? The Bear.
The Bear.
He got on like he's just old yak like we are, man. He was just on game day, and they just one week they asked him, "Hey, who do you think will win?" And he picked a few games, and he was right. Well, bam, there you go. He's got it.
You know, he actually he has his own little thing that he does too, and he comes on McElroy's show a lot too. He gives picks and stuff. I mean,
he picks Vegas line bets.
Oh yeah, he's a I don't know if he's a bookie, but he plays it.
I think he is. He break somebody's ankles. He looks like one of those crazy guys you see in those mom movies, the one that drives the car, you know, and he's got the hammer, like, hey, yeah, come on, boss, let me go in. I'll talk to him. With the big old glasses, you know, and his eyes are real big, you know.
Yeah.
His glasses are so thick. Come on, boss, let me go in. I'll go talk to him.
Oh,
I believe he is a bookie. He may be the Joey the Fish that we always refer to. He may be the real Joey the Fish.
Oh, I'm don't look ahead, but yeah.
Yeah, you got to. But that's the fun part, Jeff. That's what we do. We're analysts. We analyze. We're going to say what if.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Alabama's got Auburn, obviously. Georgia's got Georgia Tech. Other big games, obviously Ohio State, Michigan. TCU should win. They should beat Iowa State. I don't think they're going. Who does LSU have?
A&M.
Oh God, give them an 8th loss. 7 or 8 losses now for A&M.
Notre Dame at USC.
Yeah.
And Oregon State at Oregon. The Civil War. I'm kind of proud to see the Pac-12. I'm kind of proud to see them playing football. They're actually – I've watched them play a little bit. They usually come on, you know, like at 9. I don't get to watch all of it. But
Yeah.
Oregon with Bo's been pretty interesting this year. You?
Yeah, I agree. And you know, we knew Williams was pretty good, just didn't know what he was going to have around him. And
Well, all them
defensively, they're not great.
Lincoln brought out there with him for Jesus Christ. Snow. Where at, Jeff? What are you talking about?
He said the game. I'm guessing Ohio State.
Oh yeah, that's right. He's a Buckeye. He's a Buckeye. That's the only reason I just think Michigan's defense is better than Ohio State. That's the only reason.
Well,
But
if
we're
the
gonna
wind's
find out.
blowing and it's snowing, and Ohio State plays like they did the other day when the wind was blowing,
Oh, it's bad.
Blake, whatever Blake's last name is from Michigan, the running back, he might run for 250. Yeah.
Well, he ain't playing. He's done.
Oh, is he
I
done?
don't know if he's done, but they said there was no structural damage. He's a baller. He's going to want to play.
Yeah, but he won't be nowhere near as effective.
No, there ain't no way. He can't cut. He may be able to run, but he ain't going to be able to cut.
Might as well put your next guy in there.
But what quarterback has has Michigan's defense seen. I mean, we always keep talking about Michigan's defense, and these Galloway and all them get on there. Michigan defense, but who's been torching the ball against them? Maryland. I mean, against Michigan. I mean,
I don't know. We've seen Michigan go against the walk-on last year, and it didn't work out.
I just don't know who Michigan's played. He said Corum's done. And see, I'd read that he didn't have no structural damage that he made. He was still day to day. Now, I like Henderson. I'll tell you what Ohio State's doing, and Todd kind of called it out. They're not playing Njigba. They're just holding him out because their schedule, they ain't playing a lot of ranked teams really, so they're just going to hold that cat out until – is he coming back this week, Jeff? What do you know? Now, Njigba ain't played. He played the first game, pulled a hamstring. He's done. He ain't played all year. Tied second highest ranked 2-loss team at this point in the season or later. Ugh. Nice time to college football, something other.
Blake Corum told the Detroit News that he'll be fine, that he'll be back for OSU game.
Yeah, yeah. He's you know what I mean? Those kids are ballers, man. You'd have to cut his legs off not to play. He wants to play that game. You know he does.
See what Bear's got to say.
He's going to shoot somebody, man.
I think a little Vandy. Yeah, I think he's going Vanderbilt to go.
Oh, hey, give me Vandy. I'm claiming Vandy right now before you are going to even get close to that, Reese. So I got Vandy outright on Saturday. On Saturday.
Hey, show your goal, have fun, expect to win.
Vandy over Tennessee?
That's what he's saying.
Yes.
No, thank you.
Or you could say Clark Lee has a team that's playing for bowl eligibility, which is a big deal in the city of Nashville, and Tennessee is not necessarily playing for bowl eligibility.
Tennessee's going to run the quarterback.
The playoff is gone. They're
and
fighting amongst
Vandy ain't going to have nothing
in
for
the
it.
locker room. Things are not good right now in Knoxville. So, and plus Hendon Hooker obviously has that injury. So I got a weird feeling on Vandy this week.
There you go. And I tell you what, you're good at picking up on the vibes. Bear, McElroy said something earlier. You look at the latest rankings, and it is heavy with the Pac-12. Yet, Boo Corrigan tells us that the committee still wants to see a little more balance from USC and a little more from their defense. I know they forced a bunch of turnovers, but they've also given up a lot of points and yards. So
to nobody.
How do you evaluate that right now? The strength of the Pac-12 relative to the number of teams that have been ranked, and the fact that SC with just a one loss by 1 point behind a 2-loss LSU.
Yeah, I think USC has the biggest potential upside of these teams for Manning. You look at the way was it pretty last week? No, they allowed 7 yards to play.
See, that's what Clint does. See, Clint gets on here and wants to talk about this USC team. That's what I said on. I didn't even have. I ain't gonna count Oregon State. Oregon State just come in the top 25. They played one rank. Actually, they played two. They beat UCLA and they lost to Utah.
It'll be a close game.
They lost to Utah. Why don't they their strength of schedule is 58.
Enough to get them to 4. Even if TCU doesn't lose, like if TCU slops past Iowa State this week, slops past Kansas State, like I personally couldn't imagine taking an undefeated team from 4 out above USC who would have a better quality win. But I suggest TCU wins out because I don't think they can get in with a loss. I know we talked about that, but the loss would mean that they're either going to lose the conference championship game, which is the last data point that the committee has, or you're going to lose to the worst team in the Big 12. So TCU needs to win their 2 games in order to be certain.
You know, the one thing I would say.
I just wanted.
No, go ahead, Kirk. Go ahead.
I was going to ask him with that point, Bear, if TCU were to stumble. We just talked about if LSU were to lose in Atlanta to Georgia, and SC were to stumble against Notre Dame or the Pac-12 championship. Who's left in this discussion? So what you're saying is if TCU were to go down, who would they be in a discussion with if SC and SC?
It'd be Alabama.
Who else was there? LSU.
You just can't say the words Alabama.
Look,
and it would be
he's-
the
Who else
loser
are
of
you
the Ohio
for?
State, Michigan.
And who else? So we
Say
got
it.
Georgia,
LSU,
Ohio State,
right?
Michigan winner,
Yep.
Ohio State, Michigan loser.
Yep.
Yeah, LSU would be out. USC would be out.
Come on, let's hear you say
Yep,
Alabama.
Who's in there besides TCU,
So then
even if they lose?
so you're looking at TCU or well, when is USC's
Clemson.
losses? USC's
Say,
lost to
say
Notre Dame.
Clemson. Clemson. You can say it.
Well,
Clemson.
It'd be Clemson.
The thing, it's funny you say Clemson because the interesting thing with Clemson is Boo kind of hit on it earlier when he talked about football judgment. It's clear the committee doesn't have a very good football judgment of Clemson, ranking them behind USC, ranking them behind Tulos, Alabama. Now, would they default their way in? Potentially, but I think in that scenario,
Say Alabama, you loser.
He ain't going to.
TCU or maybe a USC.
You know, the one thing though about TCU's strength of schedule is better
He might
than
was about to say
all
it.
those teams that
It
you're
is.
talking about. And
It
the
is.
remaining strength of schedule is
I know it is.
competent teams.
Reese went to school. You know, Reese is a Bama graduate.
Yeah.
They still won 10 games. And I agree with a lot of the sentiment that says when you watch them, you don't grab anything great. But if all these things play out and all these teams lose, you have to consider them. They're not coming
Yes.
from 12. I mean, they're right there behind an Alabama team that we all agree is out of this discussion. So
Wow.
you might as well think of
They
Clemson
all-
as the number 7 team at this point.
I don't see that. I do not agree with Mr.
Like-
Galloway.
They hate Alabama, man. Just wait. You Georgia fans, y'all just keep on winning. Hey, we love Kirby. That's all right, Benton. You Georgia dogs, y'all keep winning. Look, here's what's gonna happen. Y'all going and win again this year and be back to back, and then come back next year. Y'all probably stumble around a little bit, may lose a game, get in the playoffs. You know, may lose second round. I don't know. Then you gain momentum again. You come back the next year, and then y'all go back to back again. Like say 24-25. It's going once you do have two back-to-backs, that's when it started for Bama. They're sick of you. But can we
Yeah.
please get well? They've changed, and people won't admit this, and that's okay. But if you pay attention to football, all these rules that have changed, it's always been because of Bama. They're sick of seeing Bama in it. They're sick of it. Everybody's sick of seeing Alabama play Clemson.
I think,
Why did they get out of the BCS? It's because of Bama. Why did they want 12-team playoffs? Because of Bama.
I wonder what the BCS would have ranking. I wonder if they have that.
It'd probably be pretty close. I think some of that committee loves Ohio State more because of the quarterback play. And see, that's what you get with people. See, people vote because of how they feel.
Yeah.
And they like that kid, CJ. So because of how they feel about him, they give Ohio State a better ranking, even if Michigan may be a little bit better.
They the BCS, from what I'm looking at, has Alabama at 9, Oregon at 8, Clemson at 7, LSU at 6, USC at 5, Michigan at 4, with TCU at 3, and then Ohio State and Georgia. If this is updated, it's interesting.
Man, I'll tell you what. That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
He would not say it. That's okay.
No,
That's
they would not say Alabama. I mean, and then he went and said Alabama, but he said we all agree is out of it. And
That's all right.
tell
That
me
don't
why
mean
they're
being-
out of it. Tell me why they're out of it. LSU
Because
could be a
it's
3-loss team.
So you're gonna put a
So-
2-loss, say if you're gonna put in a 2-loss USC. USC's gonna lose Notre Dame and then go win the Pac-12, and they're gonna put USC in over Bama. With that strength of schedule and who they're playing, and you sit there with plain face, Galloway and them, ain't no way.
If they put USC in, and I hope they get drilled by either UGA or Ohio State.
If they lose to Notre Dame, and they go in and beat Oregon for the Pac-12, they'll be a 2-loss team.
If they lose to Notre Dame, they need to be out of the top 10. I mean, I'm just saying.
Well, obviously it didn't hurt Clemson none. They beat them by 4 touchdowns. What was it, 35-14?
Yeah.
Notre Dame beat Clemson pretty good. That's what got all this talk started. That was the big mess, back a month ago when all this got started. Clemson dropping a doo-doo bomb there. Old DJ Oogie Doogie.
Man.
He's terrible. How did he get a starting job at a D1 college?
They need to start the backup.
Yeah. I want to see who's the kid y'all got down there that went and played the private school over at Georgia, won a state championship. I watched him play the darn game.
You talking about Prince Avenue?
Yeah. Got a weird last name.
Yeah, I see his face, but I can't think of his name for nothing.
Was it Vandergriff?
Yes, Brock Vandergriff.
That dude is money. I got no idea how he ain't beat Stetson Bennett. He didn't throw a touchdown Saturday, Benton. God dang it. What's going on?
They don't need him to.
Man, put old Vanderdyke in. I like him. I watched
You
him
know,
play high school.
you know what's funny is he's not going to be the quarterback next year neither.
I know. I seen that other. What's the other one?
He's a 4-star out of Florida somewhere. He's got a big arm. He's 6'5".
Man, I like Vandergriff. That's okay. We'll take him. Let him transfer on to Bama. I like him.
Hey, I seen where, speaking of transfer in Bama, I seen where one of your running backs has hit the portal today. Sanders, something like that.
Yeah, he's been hurt all year. He ain't going.
I got you. He was. I think he was down to Georgia and Alabama originally. That's why I was wondering.
I think he's from Georgia.
Yeah, he is.
I think so. I think he's from Georgia.
I was slightly disappointed when he went to Georgia. Speaking of Georgia high school, what about the big Buford going down last week?
I didn't know that. See now.
Yeah, they lost to Walton.
Who?
Walton.
I never even heard of them.
And Walton is actually at Carrollton this weekend. Big time matchup.
Oh my God.
I think Carrollton can win it all.
Is Walton got a chance to beat this Carrollton team?
Yeah, I'd say so. I mean, they went and beat the number 6 team in the nation, Buford.
Now, he's talking about Carrollton, guys, for our Alabama people watching high school football. Carrollton to come over here and beat you second round finisher Gadsden City over here. They played them. They beat them about as bad as Mountain Brook did. But Carrollton probably slowed down. You say he lives in Carrollton?
That's what he said.
What, bro? What the heck?
You better go to that game this weekend.
Yeah, you got a game to go to, bro. If you need to know about high school Georgia football, you can go over here and hit the subscribe button. It's right here. It's got here, Northwest Georgia Show, Northwest Georgia Scoreboard. They come on. They're on like y'all on 4 or 5 times a week. Every time I go over there, y'all be live.
I don't know about all that, but we're actually going to branch out and do Northwest Georgia basketball this year too. So we're going to take on some basketball, maybe do some live games, maybe some radio games. Do a show each week, talk about scores. I mean, I'm sure we'll have tons of scores.
Basketball,
probably Wednesday
man.
night games.
I'm trying to ride this football out because Center's got to go deep this year, and I'm happy for them. Like usually over the past we've been following the Spring Garden. They've been the ones making these deep runs.
Yeah.
Before we get into basketball, because once I start basketball, man, I can go 2 nights a week. I'll be over here at Center one night, and I'll be over at Spring Garden, and I'll be at Sandrock. Then there'll be a game at Gills or Cedar Bluff. I'm gonna do some more videos this year. I'm not gonna do quite as many pictures. I think I'm gonna let the girl that's helping us, Amanda. I think I'm gonna let her do some more pictures at one game, and I'm gonna do some more video stuff this year.
Yeah, I like the video stuff. It's pretty fun. I might do some video stuff myself. Try that new gimbal that I used in football on the basketball court. I think it'll work out great.
Yeah, I like doing the slow motion stuff and rewind, put music over it, and I like doing it. I'm gonna buy a good program. I got to get a good one. I'm using a free one now, and it's okay. And I get plenty. I mean, the kids like it, and that's why I do it. They like watching their highlights from their games. And
I'm gonna be honest with you. Just the Windows Movie Maker it's got everything that you want. I mean, it does slow mo and all that. I think it's like a one-time, like $35 or something like that.
Okay. Now you're talking about surprise wins over here in our market. Milry in 1A, beat Sweetwater, beat them pretty good. That was a big surprise. Anybody that knows small town football over here, Sweetwater's always the team to beat over here. And at Piedmont, the only team that won state last year, they're the only ones in the semis. Here they are again, Coach Smith and bunch.
Yep.
Them darn Bulldogs, man. They are the most consistent, steady, and of course 5. And I try not to be rude. Man, they ain't nobody even close to beating these guys. And it's like it's not that we don't want to talk about them. Coach Benefield, I really like him. I enjoy talking to him when I get to see him.
Yeah.
And the kids are super nice, and the whole town is. I mean, it's electrifying to go up there and watch football. They ain't nobody, and I'm not being rude. 5 people, 5. Any watching? They ain't nobody got a chance. And whoever's playing them this week, I'm sorry, Pisgah people. We may have a few. I've put in on that Massey. I put 5 playing teams from Georgia, and they playing with them on that Massey ratings.
Really? That would be interesting to see. Let me do a few hypotheticals here.
It's nearly like, back years ago putting Bama up against anybody. It was like, well, who's Bama playing this weekend? Green Bay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like, who's 5 going to play this weekend? Carrollton? I mean, that's the only team
That's who I was about to pull up, believe it or not.
I think I had them playing like some 4 or 5A teams.
Yeah, Carrollton's 7A. That's not fair. Let's go with an equal size. Let's see. What is 5? You think about?
They're 2A. They're the size of Trine or some of them. They ain't
I was
big as
typing
2A.
in Trine as you said that. Says it'd be a 1-point game. 5 would be favored.
See,
I don't know.
yeah,
Interesting.
it's just they get Pisgah this week, and they'll get BB Comer, and nobody knows much about them. It's their team down there in Sylacauga. They're firing all cylinders right now, and then of course 7A, the same old groups that's always playing at Thompson and Auburn. I mean, they just might as well punch their ticket when the season starts.
I like to see that Thompson versus
Auburn.
Versus somebody like Carrollton or somebody like
Oh,
that.
yeah,
What
yeah.
size is Thompson?
Well, they did. They're 7A. They Buford beat yes. Was it Thompson? Yeah. It was a pregame. I wanted to go. They played it at Thompson. Buford beat the smoke out of them.
Really?
I think it was like 36-14 or. I think it's on the pregame. You can let's look up Thompson's max preps in the first game of the year. They played Buford.
Huh.
Yeah. I wanted to go. I was like, man, you talking about athletes running around all over the field.
Oh yeah, Buford's running back. You're gonna like him a lot at Alabama.
What's his name?
Hell, I don't remember. Let's see. The other kid from South Paulding is a Wilcox kid. I get them confused. Let me look him up.
I'm gonna look it up. When I see it, Justice Haynes.
That's him.
Okay.
That's him.
Program. He's picked the tide over Ohio State, Georgia, Florida. He's 5'10", 200-pound running back, the son of former Georgia Bulldog Vernon. Oh Lord.
That's what. That
Why
stings.
did he go to Bama? Why didn't he?
Don't know. Well, I guess he wants to do his own thing.
Yeah, I get. Well, you ain't good as your daddy. Your daddy played here. He was, you have to listen to that all the time. Oh, come over here and look. This is where your daddy used to hang out and eat wings and drink over here.
Yeah.
Hey, come over here and look. This is where your dad, be like, oh my God, can I just be? I don't want to,
He's the number 7th rated player in Georgia. The composite 247 composite has him the number 2 ranked player in Georgia, number 31 ranked player in the nation.
Justice Haynes. I have to keep an eye on him.
He's a good one. Wilcox kid from South Paulding. He's a real good one too. He's similar size and build. Gonna be real good.
I'm excited this weekend. Where are you going? Oh, you coming over here to Center, ain't you?
Yeah, I'm gonna come watch. See what Center can do with Big Fluff.
He's a beast, man. 3,500 yards. The secret to the game is tackling in space and the linemen not running too far upfield. You know, if they can get through the offense a little bit. Because if you just run right at him, he's going to run around you. You got to make him change directions. You want your defensive ends to play loose. And
So
not
is he a
pinch on
big
him.
downhill back?
Yes. Well, he's either, man. I mean, if he gets if they give him a lane, he's gone. I mean,
Gotcha.
you try to grab his legs or no, he just ain't going. You want your ends to play loose and not try to pinch him, because if you try to pinch him,
Going outside.
yes, he'll bust it around the end. He'll break it and he's gone. And you got a safety or a corner trying to run him down that he's as fast or faster than, you know, anybody in North Alabama nearly. You know,
Gotcha.
you got to have your ends play loose, and you don't want to rush upfield too hard. You nearly got to kind of play him like you play Bryce Young or you know, like they played Justin when he was at Rome High School playing. You know, you don't run right at him.
Yeah, you gotta kind of keep him in there.
Yes, you just corral him. It's kind of like how I told the kids the other day where I said, it's kind of like how you cage a chicken. Huh? Chicken? Yeah, you don't just, if you just run right at a chicken, well, he'll just run around you or he'll flop over your head as you bend over. So
Got to corner him.
yeah, you got to kind of move and you got to make him feel pressure one way so you can grab him from the other side. Yeah, kids don't understand that stuff.
Believe it or not, I did some of that today. We had a chicken out at my grandparents' house, and I was like, "Get over there."
Yeah, you don't run right at them because that don't work. And
the dumb chicken, he ran right back in the hole he escaped from, and then we fixed that hole so he couldn't get out.
Peanut brains, man.
Yeah.
And, we raised them my whole life. We had them forever and ever. If they tackle in space, I like center's chances. I think their defense is just, they're mean. They've played mean all year, and I don't know why they would just decide not to play mean this Friday night.
Jeff Anderson says Nick Chubb for Cedartown years ago. Yeah, speaking of Cedartown.
Yeah, I keep up with them a little bit.
My favorite to win 4A for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, they ain't nobody.
They're at Bainbridge this week, but I think they win a couple touchdowns.
Yeah, they're one of them 5 kind of teams. There's just nobody gonna beat them. I mean, they just get on that roll, and
them and 5 are similar. I think they might be a little bigger, but they're stacked in there.
Yeah,
they say bring it on up in here. We're just gonna move you out of the way and go right at you. You know. I mean, they got a nearly 300-pound fullback. I'm talking about 250 plus. I mean, this dude is moving, folks. His name is Patrick Gardner. I'm almost certain that he's committed somewhere.
Well, that kind of football it's in the days past, really, and it's hard to. I mean, it's just not really a skill set that applies to any college because no college runs that. Now, you can take that athlete, you know, out of the backfield from those teams and put them in the backfield because they're athletic. Peyton Anderson did it. Brody did it from 5. He's at UAB playing receiver. You know, you can take any of those kids and do that and move them because of their athletic ability. But, you know, some guy had called in Saban's show one day and said, "Hey, Coach, you ever thought about going back to wing T?" And he said, "Well, I don't know where I'd get players at." You know, I thought, well, 5. I mean, that's you could probably start there. You know, Deshler was a 4A team. They run a lot of that over here.
That's what Cedartown runs, wing T.
I mean, but I seen a college team run that the other day, and they walked in the end zone. Why?
Yeah.
Because who prepares for that? Nobody. So Saban was like, yeah, well, nobody would be prepared to block that, you know, nobody would. But that's why Georgia Tech got out of it, because they got to the point where they just couldn't get the people.
Oh, yeah.
How are you going to get people to play that type of position? You know, you got linemen that are cut blocking nearly every play. They dive. They lunge. When they come off the ground, they're on all fours, and all they do is jump and lunge, you know, to the next one.
Pull that up. I want to show you this. Now, this is their fullback now.
Oh, yeah. No, we've got one of those bars over here. I got to mess around with it. It's you're supposed to jump with it. Like when you come to the top, you're supposed to pop your hips in and make
I
it
got you.
bounce. And it's supposed to make your core strong. I
Well-
seen Chubb. Is that Chubb?
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Chubb can get after it too.
He nearly killed that guy. You see him try to grab it when he tried to rack it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was fixing to say, I seen a video like that with Chubb.
Oh yeah.
He's just one of them once in a lifetime Herschel Walker kind of guys. And that's not, guys, look, that is not a, he went way deep. Look at his parallel of his hips. Watch where his, I'm looking at the hip bone, okay? I watched the hips and the ankle. Dude, he's way past, God, that's nearly dangerous. Like, I'm scared he's going to patella.
I seen him lean forward a little bit too, but that's
Watch his
565 on that one.
Watch his hip and then watch his ankles. See where they meet. Yeah, that's a good squat, man. That's exactly how it's done.
That's got almost 10,000 views too. Anyway.
He's special, man.
And that's what's coming at you at the fullback position.
Dude,
and then you got Harlem Diamond, which is one of the running backs. There's a couple of them, or about 3 or 4 of them. I mean, this dude scores a touchdown like every 4 times he touches the ball. It's ridiculous.
Now he's talking about it, Cedartown, folks. He's talking about that.
Yeah,
Wing T
sorry.
style yeah, I don't. It's just, and they're just what's the hard about it is they're satisfied with 4 yards.
Yeah.
Most teams want to throw that big 20-yard pass up the field and get a big gash. They want the clock to run, and they want 4 yards. They're happy with. They're tickled to death on second.
The thing about Cedartown is they just lull you after those 3-4 yards. When they do pass, they're running wide open.
Yeah, well, and they throw it just enough.
Yeah.
To maybe keep you honest.
And the quarterback can run. So I mean everybody's running.
Yeah, when Peyton Anderson they won state down here that year, he was QB, and when they snapped the ball, they roll it nearly they scoot it on the ground. So you can't see the ball because when he gets the ball, he squats. His butt is all the way on the ground nearly. They got in trouble once or twice. They almost got called down because he has to squat down so far to get the ball. And you think, well, God, they screwed those snaps up. Let me tell you something. Anything Coach Benefield, it's not a screw. He is planned. Everything he does. He was telling me about some old school stuff one time, how the stripe on the ball, the stripe on the ball, this is so people can see the ball, of course, when it's in the air. But when they take the ball and you turn and hand it, the way it's snapped, so when you turn and hand it, it's handed like this.
Huh.
That's not an accident.
Yeah.
It's so you can't see the ball. He's a genius, dude. Who does that? Who even thinks about what the? He said. I was like, what are you talking about? I don't mean me. Him and those old guys, the greats like Coach Danny Horn, Steve Smith, Coach Benefield. Those old guys have won so many times, and they are so meticulous. I mean, everything they do, I heard, because that's what I was getting at. People in the stands are saying, well, he screwed up about the last 4 snaps. No, that's exactly what it's supposed to do. It's supposed to be low on the ground.
Yeah.
Because they play that wing T, and they're cutting their guards and tackles or cutting their legs out from under you, so the lineman falls down, and then the other 2 guards and tackles from the other side pull to the other side and follow that sniffer back, and they just outnumber you. They got 4 guys coming, and you got 3. Well, guess what? You're not winning.
No.
It's fun to watch, and it's kind of a throwback, and I really enjoy going up there and watching them play.
I went a few years back and watched them play.
How they get down, 'cause it's like ready, set. They all,
Yeah. Cedartown does the same thing. They're all in cadence. They're all down at the same time. Yep.
It's fun.
They did a little muddle huddle. They did a little quick huddle, and just pop out there and go.
They turn around, get set, bam, hand on the ground, snap the ball. It's old, man. I like it. I mean, that's how we played when we was kids. It's fun to watch. Now, it'll always be a part of some football somewhere, around the country, but slowly and surely it's going away. It's going.
Well, at least it ain't gonna be freezing cold Friday night.
No, it's not going to be. It's going to be what, high 40s, low 50s.
Yeah, low mid 50s. Yeah.
It's probably going to be 60 during the day. But see, this storm's coming through, man. It's kicking a bunch of snow up north. And Corey Teague, he's at Lindsey Wilson. They won their playoff game. Well, they got to go play in Iowa Saturday. Lindsey Wilson does. They're going to be in Iowa. He's not even going to get to come home Thanksgiving. So I seen his mom and them at the store, and he'll be in Iowa. They're probably going to leave probably Thanksgiving night. They're going to probably have Thanksgiving on the road, getting ready to go play a playoff game.
Yeah, he'll be all right with that though. He's playing in the playoffs.
They're good, man. Lindsey Wilson is that division they play in up there in Kentucky. They play all over, but anybody listening, y'all check them out. Type in Lindsey Wilson. They're like so many 20-time something champs and 17-time conference something. They're good. You think it's a small school? Well, they're not that good. Well, when they play the people that they play, you know what I'm saying? When you play people that's compared to you,
Yeah.
I mean they're the Alabamas of that division style football.
Well, I better jump off here.
Yeah, we had to put in some high school there. We need to talk.
Sorry.
No, we got to. I knew we was going to. I'm excited for Cherokee County. I look for a good game. Macy's got it picked 31-30, Cherokee County.
I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, they both growed. They're both two different teams now, so we're gonna find out Friday. Come in there and holler at me. We're gonna do a little game day special with the kids. They're gonna set up the tables and the poster out in front, with the helmets on it, and
Yes, sir.
they'll have on suits and they're gonna dress up and look spiffy. And Dean's trying to find his mink coat. She's trying to find a fur coat or something, a jacket. We're gonna try to do something crazy. And
Hey, you gonna do like well, you're not gonna do any pick'ems, but yeah, he could put on the headgear and do
yeah,
that.
he's gonna
There you go.
He's gonna do that. It'd be Corso.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have
Oh,
fun.
boy.
I'm gonna try to Pat McAfee. I'm gonna try to come in, hype them up, and make them get the crowd going there. And
You always need a hype, man.
let's get it raining though, so the hype.
Yeah.
We may
gonna be
need some
tough.
extra hype.
We're going to be live tomorrow night. We have our top 7 finishers for Northwest Georgia Player of the Year. We'll talk about that. We'll probably mention the Coach of the Year, which is Cedartown Bulldogs head coach,
Imagine that.
Coach Abrams.
What time y'all be on? 7?
7 Eastern
6
tomorrow
Battle time.
night. Yeah.
Jeff, go in there and find their page. You live over that way. You need the Northwest Georgia scoreboard. Go over and find Benton B. Birds on Twitter. Or they're on Facebook too. You can find them anywhere.
Yeah, we'll be live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? They struck our video right in the middle of the show Sunday night on YouTube. Struck it. They took
Wow.
it down, and
Wow.
I even appealed it, and they still struck me. They struck me for playing the highlights just from Auburn, Kentucky, or whatever. I played a few clips. It's like we do every week.
Yeah.
So I got on the YouTube on the chat with a girl, and I said, "Why? What are you talking about?" I said, "As of Section 107 in the Copyright Act of 1976 says I can play highlights of stuff if we're talking about it." We were talking about it. It's what we do. We're a sports show. And she said, "I don't know. The computer just picked it up as spam." And so I said, "Well, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to download it. I'm going to re-upload it. And I hope they give me another strike. And if they strike it again, I'm going to download it and I'll upload it again and get 3 strikes in one day and I'll cancel the YouTube channel. I don't really care."
Yeah.
And she said, "Well, she said, I know, I understand." She said, I'm just telling you what I'm reading." I said, "I know it ain't you. You're not the head cheese over there." So I did. I downloaded it and I put it up and they struck every one of the highlights. But then it said out next to them, no, whatever, copyright claim, not your video's not affected. So they put it up after I downloaded and re-uploaded it.
Yeah.
But they struck the live video. You see what I'm saying?
Wow.
For doing what other thousands of people do, react to videos.
Oh yeah. I mean, That's YouTube these days.
Nah, you can't sue YouTube. You can't do
Turn the
we'll see
lights
y'all,
out.
yeah, Friday night. I'll probably go live for a minute before we go on. Just give everybody a heads up. And if y'all ain't doing nothing, come over to Cherokee County. Play Aniana semifinal game. Winner will play the next Friday at 11 o'clock at Auburn.
Yeah, I think me and Aaron will be down there.
They'll play the winner of Andalusia and Catholic Montgomery. That'll be a smoke show, too. All right, I'll see y'all over there.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
thanks
sir.
for coming on, bro.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
All right, sir. Good time. See you Friday. See y'all. Keep your heads clear and your hearts full of God. Have a good week.